the Dahmer verdict.
It took a jury just 5 hours to reach a verdict.
Just 5 hours to find Dahmer sane.
The focus now shifts from the who to the why.
I just thank the Lord that me and Dahmer didn't get along. Otherwise, you might have seen my head on a shelf over there.
We're back with Lionel and Sherry Dahmer, the parents of the late Jeff Dahmer. A downward spiral, as I understand, begins, right? You learn from your mother that Jeff has full-size male mannequin in his closet. I must tell you something seriously wrong, right?
We thought, again, it was related to his homosexual desires.
You then knew he was homosexual?
Yes. Okay. Oh, yes.
And you knew it. How'd you handle that?
Not well.
Not very well. I'm a believer in absolute truth. I think people that don't believe in absolute truth are maybe prone to be more liberal with error. And I believe that the Bible teaches that that is something that you should avoid, just like too much food, too much drink, too much of anything. And I took him, it's something to be conquered, I felt. So I took him to a psychiatrist, and really it was for mostly, at that point, the drinking and the...
Did his brother have anything in that area? His brother gay?
No.
No.
No,
you say his brother's married. You have grandchildren,
yes.
Right? Okay, so the spiral start, he sets up a satanic altar in his house. He dabbles in the occult, right? You're learning all this, but still no idea of murder.
Right.
But when you see satanic cult, isn't that some sort of... Well, you wrote in your book, more than anything, I allowed myself to believe that there was a line in Jeff, a line he wouldn't cross. It was a line that divided the harm he did to himself from the harm he might do to someone else. And you wrote, in the eyes of parents, I think children always seem just a blink away from redemption. No matter to what depths we watch them sink, we believe they need only grasp the lifeline and we can still pull them safely to shore. In other words, you knew there was something wrong. You knew he was bothered. Something was seriously wrong. But you never thought that he would harm someone else.
No.
Harm himself, yes. Did you think he might commit suicide?
He had tendencies to denigrate himself. And he even told his grandmother one time, well, if I die, just throw me down the field. So he did not have a big self-image.
In 1988, September 26, he moves out of his grandfather's house. He brings home a Laotian teen and molests him. That leads to an arrest, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Did that perk some sign into you, that he had molested someone?
Oh, yes. We hired someone, an attorney, to represent him, and I argued for a very, very firm follow-up on a psychological basis. Don't let him out. His attorney actually let him out 4 months.
Attorney let him out?
Let him out.
You mean the court
wanted to let him. The court let him out.
So we could not stop him. Lionel wrote a letter to the judge requesting that Jeff get psychological help.
He let him out earlier than what his sentence had been given.
And he got probation, right?
Right.
Yeah.
In 1 year work release program, right? Mm-hmm. Did you think he had gotten through it?
I tried to hook him up with another psychologist, but he didn't. Jeff did not attend on a regular basis. I didn't think he got through it. I thought at that time it would take a long time.
Because then he had another problem with a naked Asian teenager, right? Mm-hmm. So these things are all leading up to the worst day of your life.
Yes.
July 23rd, 1991. Jeff's arrested for homicide investigation. Of 17, did you know it was 17 then when he was arrested?
Not at first at all, no.
What did they say at first?
I had
There were several.
been called by Sherry that there were a few involved in a homicide. I didn't...
Who told you?
The police called, and the attorney.
They had arrested him?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And
where were the bodies?
There were virtually no bodies in most cases because he had destroyed them.
He had eaten parts of them and destroyed them?
He had eaten parts, but he had cut them up and destroyed them. He had put them in trash bags. That's why there was no hard line of bodies to trace.
Actually, the eating part was more like, you know, how the ancient Indians used to eat parts of humans, hoping that they would gather strength from that. Mm-hmm. You know, Jeff told me that that was a very, very small part. It was a part, but very much overblown by the media.
But he killed the people.
But he did dispose of their bodies, yes.
Did he first deny it to you?
Oh, you mean when he was finally arrested, July 1991? No, he did not deny
He admitted it?
Oh, yes. Yes.
How did he, where were you, what were the circumstances when he tells you this is what I did?
I met him at the Milwaukee County Jail. I went down to meet with him.
Did you go?
Oh, yes, every time. We visited with him.
But the first time I'm talking about, when he tells you what he did.
I hugged him and I said, Jeff, and he said to me, I really messed up this time, which is an understatement. And I said, Jeff, you really need help. The only way I can see is to have you judged insane so that you'll be put into a psychiatric hospital to really find out what's wrong. He hesitated at first, but later on, he really wanted to find out what was causing him to do these things.
Did he ever plead insanity?
Oh, yes. I mean, through advice of me and the attorney.
The court rejected the insanity, right? And found him guilty of the murders.
I would never have put him and us or anyone through this insanity trial if I had known that this was, I believe, what would we call it, a situation where they wanted to assuage the community. There was
this was a trial to help appease the victims' families. They needed that trial.
God, certainly he was sick.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But one attorney told me that they watched it and they said, oh my God, his attorney, a 14-year-old or an apprentice attorney, a journeyman attorney could have done that. They were doing it, we felt, and
well, the families attended the trial, did they not? Did you have a tough time facing the families of the people he killed?
Oh, yes. There were stares of hatred, comments.
At you?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
We just sat just motionless and sick to our stomach.
Was there any thoughts of not attending the trial?
Only when they warned us not to. There were several days they said the tempers were so high that we should not appear. So we did not go.
Did he take the stand?
No.
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 We'll be right back with Lionel and Sherry Dahmer. Don't go away.
Did the defendant, Jeffrey L. Dahmer, have a mental disease? Answer, no. Question number 2 need not be answered. Counsel, do you have anything further for the jury?
As the